June 23rd, soccer practice just got over for 12 boys in Thailand. They were celebrating a boy's birthday. The boys is aged from 11 to 16. There were 12 of them. Went hunting. Not hunting, more exploring in the caves in Thailand. With their 25-year-old coach, they all went missing. And 2 weeks later, we have 4 of them that were pulled out of safety due to the horrific conditions that they're experiencing. 2.5 miles deep into these caves, the boys and the coach went. The coach went looking for these kids. And the water started rising from all the storms. It's monsoon season in Thailand right now. And a hero walked among the rescue efforts Friday, July 6th. 38-year-old Saman Kunan, forgive me if I said the name wrong, was a volunteer to help rescue the 12 soccer kids along with their coach. He was a former Navy SEAL, and his job was delivering canisters along the 2.5 mile insane path to get out of there. He was a former Thai Navy SEAL who had an adventurous spirit, bicycling, racing. After retiring as a Navy SEAL, Kunan became a triathlete and worked as an airport security officer. God bless him. And he will receive a royally sponsored funeral. He's a hero. He's absolutely a hero. No matter what the media will tell you, no matter what they will not tell you. Because right now they're not telling you that he's a hero, but he is a hero. He risked his life as a volunteer to go help these kids escape the tragic situation that they are in. The kids honestly should have never climbed in there, but that's, kids, boys being boys. I mean, they're, like I said, ages between 11 and 16. I know myself, I have a 10-year-old, and he likes to go explore, do things that he's not supposed to. I can't imagine what the 16-year-olds are doing. The divers took a break Sunday for between 10 and 20 hours to recharge all their oxygen bottles, to rest, to recover. Because in Thailand, like I said earlier, it's monsoon season, and they got a break in the weather. It's not going to continue to be a break in the weather, and if the water just keeps rising in the rain, it could pose very dangerous conditions more for the divers. As of Sunday night, 4 of the boys were rescued. Thank you, God. Thank you for the 4 that are rescued. They were talking. There was rumor that they were going to leave the boys in there for 4 months because a 4-month food supply was sent in with some of the divers. Can you imagine having to stay in the caves for 4 months? And who knows how high that water is going to rise? Who knows what kind of scorpions, snakes, different things like that. I mean, they had no light until the divers were able to break through. Some of the passages were 2 feet wide. The divers had to take off their breathing capacity, I don't know what you call them. I'm not an expert in diving. Their oxygen bottles, and roll them through these tight little areas. So 2 divers would go with a kid, and so they're getting up to these 2-foot wide passages with a diver next to the kid and a diver behind the kid, and they're all pulling on this rope that's guiding them. And they have to take off these packages, their air supply, to get through these areas. And none of these kids have ever scuba dived before. I mean, to get 4 of them out, it was about 7 to 8 hours. And they were estimating it at 7, so they got them out, or they were estimating it at 12 hours. and they got him out between 7 and 8, which is a miracle. A miracle that they got any of them out. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not 2 divers would attach with him. 3 divers. It's absolutely, it's asinine. And the dive team had people from all over the world. The U.S. sent people over to help, which kudos to the president and the military for sending people over. I mean, that's amazing. Incredible. I mean, they've got, obviously, ambulances and medical personnel standing by to help the children. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm at Oregon Redskin, and I tweeted out quite a bit of stuff Sunday night on the... there's some graphics that came out that give a pretty good description of how the entire cave area is, and it's quite interesting. It almost looks like a water slide in a way, where the kids are up on this high area and they come down a little bit and they just come up to these. It's almost like they're climbing a ladder to go down a slide, and that area looks like it's about 2 feet wide. I mean, these are what they're calling the choke point. And it's just, it's incredible. I mean, these kids and this coach have been in these caves for 2 weeks. And it took them 9 days to get them food because they had to, the Thai military, the Thai construction people, they had to create a pathway through this cave area. At first, they didn't think they were going to be able to get through. Man, an 18-man rescue team comprised of 13 foreign divers and 5 Thai Navy SEALs are rescuing the young boys and their coach. I mean, can you imagine what's going through their head? I mean, kids nowadays, and I'm sure in Thailand, they don't have their electronic device. They're probably fidgeting because they don't have Wi-Fi. They don't have no light. They didn't have no food. Now, with the divers that got to them, there's pictures that are coming back with the foil blankets on. And what Elon Musk is doing, it's phenomenal. That's what American ingenuity, American capitalism, the free market does. Elon Musk saw, obviously, everyone around the world is seeing what's going on with these boys that are trapped in the caves in Thailand. So immediately, I'm sure that Elon was working on this project. And if you go follow me on Twitter, at Oregon Redskin, and on Instagram, AJD503, that's where I'm putting a lot more content out as well. I plan on putting out more videos and stuff in the future. Like I told you guys 2 weeks ago, a lot of stuff is on the horizon with this radio program, and it's good stuff. It just you can't do it all at once, and it's one of those things you're working and working and working. But back to Elon Musk. He had to have been working on, it's almost like earlier over the weekend someone had mentioned something that Elon Musk is sending over like a submarine. Well, on Sunday morning, he tweets out, testing underwater in an LA pool, and it's some divers in this silver mechanical thing. And if you click on the videos, had 1.57 million views, so it's interesting. It's caught people's attention. It really has. And he tweets out actually a couple more videos of it. And if you go up to one that was approximately about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, it has him with these divers and this makeshift submarine, I guess is what you would call call it, and he's simulating maneuvering through a narrow passage. So, how can you be mad at someone? I mean, you obviously can't be mad at it. How awesome is this? And right before that, about 1:30, there's another video that has 2.4 million views. It's them taking this pod out of the water and untying all the gadgets and different things that they have attached to it. And I'll go ahead and tweet out a video of it, but it's amazing. They get it out. They have all these harnesses and different things for protecting it, and they take the top off, and there's a male in there, a male adult with a breathing canister in case anything got in there. And then so I click on the tweet, and I'm going down, and people, is this a mini sub that it's on its way to Thailand? And Elon responds, mini sub arriving in about 17 hours. Hopefully useful. If not, perhaps it will be in a future situation. And I guess Elon, I don't know if it was him personally, probably not, but his company and everybody was in constant contact with the cave experts in Thailand to see about assisting with this situation. How awesome is that? I mean, seriously, this is a feel-good story. This is a great story about heroes, about Elon Musk, an American entrepreneur that is trying to do good. Good. And this is good stuff. This is fantastic stuff. I mean, they're taking that break. In Thailand, I think I don't know the time difference. It's significant. I think it's like 11 or 12 hours. Anyways, he's trying to get this mini sub over to Thailand if it can help in any situation with these kids. Because these kids haven't scuba dived before. They're weak. They haven't eaten. I'm sure they're bringing, small things of food to kind of help get the kids up and ready. But you're talking 2.5 miles. And this is just an estimate. We'll know the full details in the next week or so coming. But this is an incredible story. I mean, from Saman Kunen, again, apologies for pronouncing the name wrong. I'm sure I did. And a hero sacrificing. He knew he was a volunteer, and he went in as a volunteer to help spread air canisters throughout the treacherous terrain. And he was there. He gave up his life. He stopped breathing. People tried to resuscitate him, and they were unsuccessful. But, I mean, this guy is a hero. I mean, Elon Musk, you got to say, is a hero. He's doing everything he can to help. He's doing for the good of humanity. Not the good of him, not the good of his company. We're the evil people saying, all these corporate people are horrible. I know what you're going to say. Elon Musk does take subsidies from the government, and I'm completely against that. But this is an amazing story. I mean, how could you go wrong? You just can't. Oh, shoot. I mean, it's just, I can't. I look forward to when we say all the kids and the coach is out of the cave. I mean, it makes you feel good to see people getting together to help and help these kids. It really does. I mean, so just think, if you're at your house and you're complaining you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have something, imagine that you could be these kids and this coach stuck in this cave for over 2 weeks with no food, no light. You tell me. Credible. Hey, let's take a break right here, and on the other side of the break, We're going to talk some political hyperbole. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
In every rising of the sun, my purpose was to be thankful to be alive. I was even more thankful for the blessings that came with this life, specifically Virdis, my wife. But that came to an end when Aklavane and her minions violently took her away from me. So my new purpose in this life is to gather all the pieces of the Stone's Heart so I can defeat Aklavane and get back my bride. Join me as I travel to new worlds, making new friends and avoiding old enemies. Read more about my story in the first 2 books of the Stone's Heart series, which are now available on Amazon.com in Kindle format. The first book is The Quest for Savitvarda, and that is followed by The Heart of Pagaila. Stone's Heart is more than a fantasy and a sci-fi quest. It's me fighting to get back my precious wife, despite the overwhelming odds against me. Stone's Heart. Join, explore, and believe.
And welcome back, folks. I was trying to avoid this topic, but Roe vs. Wade. Since Justice Kennedy had retired, people on both sides of the aisle, this has not been a partisan fight that I was looking forward to. I mean, this is probably going to be a fight for the ages, in my opinion. And a CNN legal analyst, Jeffrey Toobin, declared last week abortion will be illegal in a significant part of the United States in 18 months. There's just no doubt about that. End quote. Good! Abortion is murder. There's no simplicity about that. There's nothing easy to say about that. Killing a defenseless child. But the day after Justice Kennedy retired, I'm checking every side of this issue. I'm looking at all the websites, and I ran across Huffington Post. And it was quite an interesting article just a picture that really stuck my mind out. It had a picture of a coat hanger on the front. And if you turn into my Facebook page, I have the video up and everything like that, and you'll see that I'm holding a coat hanger up. And it talked about women going back to giving themselves abortions with coat hangers. And I just thought that was a disgusting article. I couldn't even read it. Just the picture alone disgusted me, and the title. Women can go back to backdoor abortions. I mean, we should be getting away from anyone that wants to do abortions. I mean, seriously, it's... And as the Huffington Post reports, there's a special place in HE double hockey stick for women who want to gut abortion rights. And this is an opinion piece from Courtney Enlow. And as we're on the heels of a new Supreme Court justice being chosen, chosen because Congress, the Senate in particular, has advise and consent. Because it doesn't matter if President Trump will say he picks Bernie Sanders to be on there, or he picks Mike Lee, polar opposites, to be on the Supreme Court. The Senate has to confirm that choice. In this article in the Huffington Post, it's a hit piece on one of the front lead candidates to be on the Supreme Court justice is Anthony Barrett, who's a devout Catholic who once referred to a legal career as, quote, but a means to an end, and that end is building the kingdom of God, end quote. And also, Senator Feinstein said the dogma of what she thinks. You're going to hear it first here from me. I think President Trump is going to select Amy Barrett as the choice. I pray, I hope so. You know? But there's going to be some tough proceedings, some confirmation hearings, if that's the choice. I mean, you can go listen to all the other podcasters, the different people give you their analysis on who they are, but I like this from what I've read on her. She's on the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. During her confirmation to the Court of Appeals, Senator Feinstein, like I said, says the dogma and law are two different things. And I think whatever a religion is, it has its own dogma. The law is totally different. And I think in your case, when one reads your speeches, the conclusion one draws is that the dogma lives loudly within you. And that's of concern, end quote. I watched, because they attached the full, 3 hours and 30 minutes confirmation. And I didn't watch all 3 hours. I watched about 47 minutes of it. And that's all I needed to hear. I mean, it was, you go from I don't know all the terminology and all that, but the person is the committee head, who was just talking about law to both the candidates, because there's two people that they were confirming. He was talking about, I can't even remember who the guy was. It was some Republican that I'm sure I could get pounded in the head that I should know. But anyways, he was talking about Court of Appeals, Supreme Court decisions, judicial terms, and judicial legality of things. And she goes straight into religion. That was a litmus test. And the Constitution's very strong on that. You should not have any litmus test to hold public office. And at the time of this, NARAL President Elise Hogue issued a statement saying Barrett's advancement to the federal bench, quote, should be of great concern for anyone who believes in a truly independent judiciary, given her alignment with extreme anti-choice organizations and her comment indicating her belief that Roe v. Wade was incorrectly decided, end quote. So she's not even allowed to say comments that her belief Roe v. Wade was incorrectly decided. So, and the NARAL president, I mean, that's a worded that I had. You have to look at the video. I got that from NARAL in the mail. I mean, that's just, it's a disturbing organization full of hate, full of people that have no regard for life. And as a Christian, as just a human, before I even became a Christian, life is of utmost importance. It just is. The overturning of Roe is just the beginning. If Roe v. Wade was overturned, say Justice Barrett got on the court, and Roe v. Wade was overturned, all it would make it is at the federal level. The real fight begins after that, because it would be up to the states. I mean, a state like Texas, obviously, you would think would make it not legal. I mean, Oregon, let me pull up, the Oregon governor, right now is, between now and November, there's going to be a lot of good content coming from Oregon. I can guarantee you that, because I'm front and center on it. Governor Brown is wrong on abortion being part of women's health care. And this is an article by Rep. Rinskell, who wrote this op-ed in the Oregonian. And this is what Governor Brown said. I want to be clear, quote, women, no matter who they are or where they come from, shouldn't be denied access to health care, including safe, legal abortion, end quote. Health care includes mammograms. I know, I'm a white male, so I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but abortion's not health care. And I don't care. I don't care if what I have to say gets me in trouble. My entire life, my mouth has always gotten me in trouble. And my wife will definitely vouch for that. I can assure you that that's one thing. But to me, it's disturbing, and I think Governor Brown's mouth should be talking. The voters in Oregon can see who she really is, because I know a lot of progressives, a lot of Democrats who can't stand her. I know a lot of Democrats that are happy that the Janus ruling went down because they believe in freedom. And a lot of them are not, and this is not an endorsement for Newt Bueller, who knows, maybe someday I can get on the program. But this is a very pivotal moment, I think, in Oregon history, because you have Kate Brown, who didn't, with the Kitzhoffer situation with his girlfriend, he stepped down. She was Secretary of State, so she, from the Oregon Constitution, takes over that position. This is her first election as an incumbent governor. And she's going around the state talking about abortions at will. Let's give an abortion to any woman that gets pregnant. Free. Safe. Well, I want everybody to be safe, but I don't want every woman going and getting an abortion. To me, it's sickening. Personal responsibility is something that you should be fully part of, fully take responsibility. If you're going to have sex out of wedlock, the repercussions, are you could potentially get pregnant. Now, I think you should wait till you're married, wait to have a family, and then you can create all the lovely babies you want. But the funny thing is that the one thing you hear over and over again, I know I do because I'm at the forefront fighting this in my area. I will have a conversation and we can debate anyone face to face. I enjoy it. I really do. Is the two things that I hear. Two things. You're a male and you don't know. How can you have a decision? How can you have a decision because you're a male? Well, I can still love life. That's what I tell them. Life is precious to me. 2, reproductive rights. So that made me think. I'm doing show prep. I'm looking at reading these articles. I'm just thinking in my head. I'm going, reproductive rights. How am I going to fit this in? Okay, let me go to Google. So I went to Google and I just typed in reproductive rights. Reproductiverights.org came up. The Center for Reproductive Rights. About us. That's all I wanted to know. The Center of Reproductive Rights uses the power of law to advance reproductive rights as fundamental human rights around the world. That hit me right in the face, and I'm going, the power of law to advance reproductive rights as fundamental human rights. Okay, let's break that down. The power of law. So forcing government to push your agenda down someone else's throat, whether 50% of people or 48% of people do not want your agenda pushed on them. Let's go to the second part. Advance reproductive rights. Can anybody tell me in the world, besides China and maybe a Middle Eastern country, but in the United States, where your reproductive rights are at utmost rolled back from you, where you're not allowed to have a baby unless the government tells you to? You can't have any more children. Has anyone told you that? Your doctor might tell you that for health reasons. My wife has had 3 cesareans. It's probably the doctor told her it wouldn't be good on her body. She's a little older now. She's, the big 32. She's still a young pup, but because she's had 3 cesareans, it'd be hard on her body, if she has another baby, it's up to God. I mean, that she'd have to go to a, OHSU, which is a premier hospital in the state of Oregon. But I think that'd be difficult to deal with. The struggle, the stress. I mean, just think about that. Seriously, honestly ask yourself, is there anyone in my life, anyone in my local government that is restricting me from having a child? Because reproductive means reproduce. Reproduce a child. That doesn't mean kill the child. Reproductive is a tense of reproduce. Tell me I'm wrong there, because I'm not. Reproduce. And then you go to the third part of that. Fundamental human rights around the world. Well, good news within the last couple weeks. You're going to be excited if you're listening. Saudi Arabia has allowed women to drive. Okay, that's a human right there. Just to be able to, maybe not driving is a human right, but being able to go out in public is a right. Freedom. Being able to defend yourself is a right. Being able to worship, if you want to worship a tree, that's a fundamental human right. Murdering a baby is not a right. And I will stand for the innocent children who are in their mother's belly till my last breath. I tell you what, I have 3 children. Sometimes they drive me nuts. A lot of times they drive me nuts. But when I come home and they're happy to see me, and like my son and I are going to a minor league baseball game this week. When that's all he's talked about, because he can't wait to go with me, that's why I stand for life. Or when my daughter's playing on a competitive soccer team, and she's, I live for that stuff. It's amazing. So their vision is, we envision a world where every person participates with dignity as an equal member of society. Time out. I agree with you there. I agree with you. Regardless of gender. Okay, and reproductive rights. Last time I checked, women are the only ones that can reproduce. Where every woman is free to decide whether or when to have children and whether to get married. Where access to quality reproductive health care is guaranteed. And where every woman can make these decisions free from coercion or discrimination. I told you. Reproductive rights. What does that mean? Reproduce. No one has told you can't. A doctor might suggest because of health conditions, but what their missions is stating, where every woman is free to decide whether or when to have children and whether to get married. Well, women already have that choice. I haven't read any news articles or heard on the radio at all where they're stopping women from getting married or having children. Please, tweet at me at Oregon Redskin or on Instagram, Facebook, Common Sense Radio. Let me know, because I want to know. I want to be covering that front and center, but it's not happening. Okay, this is code word to kill babies. Code word. And if you don't like it, well, I'm sorry, but it's fact. The so-called conservative Tommy Lauren made what I find, in my opinion, a disastrous comment. She came out over the weekend and stated, quote, overturning Roe v. Wade would be a mistake. This is not a social issue. It is a morality issue. End quote. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Overturning Roe v. Wade would be a mistake. End quote. Folks, I hate to tell you this. It's not a social issue. It's a morality issue. It's an issue that deals with someone's freedom. Because that innocent baby that is in the womb can feel pain after 20 weeks. That's why we were trying to get a start. Just ban them after 20 weeks. I mean, we want to ban them completely, you know? I mean, I find it disgusting. I find it grotesque that people support this kind of stuff. And I get, okay, I want to be the cool, union member. I want to be the cool lady or cool guy that pro-choice. Yeah, it's your choice. Your choice to do whatever you want. But that's not the thing. Choice is all good whenever you're talking about soda pop. Yeah, I want Dr. Pepper instead of Pepsi, or I want Diet Pepsi instead of Mountain Dew. That's a choice. You do not have choice on God's green land to kill another person. It's in the Ten Commandments. Okay? Go back in Exodus and take a look. I mean, what else can we talk about with this since Justice Kennedy had retired? I mean, from the coat hanger to Tommy Lauren comments. I mean, you got Susan Collins up in Maine talking about she's going to not support any justice that is hostile towards Roe v. Wade. Well, any human, from my opinion, Susie, should be hostile to that because you're murdering children. But don't worry. There is a solution. There's a solution. It's called hashtag Listeria 2018. Go on, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, get on the internet, and type that in. Because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm jumping onto the Twitter, and it's the newest fab. Well, maybe that's not the word I should use. It is the newest. Wait, did I spell that wrong? Oh my goodness. I am such a knucklehead. I missed an IS. What? Oh, Lestrada. Oh, I'm way off. Oopsie. Lestrada. Anyways, obviously you can tell I'm not very good with this word, but I'll tweet it out. And what it is it's a sex strike. It's a sex strike that the so-called pro-choice women are pushing. Okay. But what's a sex strike? It is women are refusing to date. They're refusing to have sex. They are refusing to talk, to do anything with a person that doesn't believe in their pro-choice. They even came up with something so cute. If you support this hashtag, it's hashtag LYSISTRATA. Lestrada, I'm guessing. Anyways, you get a cute little emoji that you get to put on your dating profiles to stand in solidarity with the other women who are standing up against us. Radical males. I saw some funny tweets though. If a pro-choice woman stop having sex altogether, that will cut down on abortion. A big win for the unborn. You can't not laugh at that. That's hilarious. So you're telling me that if we keep threatening Roe, you'll practice abstinence and stop killing your babies? Well, my choice is clear. Thanks. You know? Like Rush talked about on his show last week. This is a movement that's directed to single women that are pro-choice, and I support it because I don't want you to get pregnant and kill a baby. I don't want anyone to. Wee. Man, this has been a jam-packed show. I mean, what will this movement do? I don't see it really. I think it's one of those social media hashtags that are, it's cool to tweet out once. It's cool to tweet out once. Oh, man. In other news this week, Socialist list of demands for America, and this is over by the Daily Wire, one of my favorite sites to visit. I mean, I visit that every day. And what they say is, I literally don't care how we pay for this. We paid for $1 trillion plus tax cut and increased the defense budget. We paid trillions of dollars on wars that we lost. We can afford whatever we want. And every smug NBA cheese, I won't say that, in the mention knows it. We could not spend $800 plus a year. Let me get to that. And now the list of demands. Okay, hold your horses. Because don't forget, this is from a socialist on Twitter. They want their demands. I want nationalized healthcare free for all to include abortion. There we go. So just move to Oregon. I mean, because Kate Brown's already doing all that. Abortion on demand. Abortion for whoever you are. I mean, I don't care if you're a citizen. I don't care if you're from North Dakota. Kate Brown will give you one. at the point of use with no fees for anyone. Okay, so who's going to pay for all that? That's what I want to know. Who's going to pay for all that? Free public university, trade school, vocational school with no fees for anyone. Hey, great idea. Again, how are we going to pay for it? Here we go. Here we get to a good one. A federal jobs guarantee that explicitly is not military or law enforcement. So what do you want it to be? Park rangers? So you want a jobs program for park rangers or cashiers? We got to expand a little bit more. I just want the government to get out of it completely, deregulate. We can create more jobs. The market will dictate everything. A massive cut to defense spending, closing all our bases abroad in the next 5 years. You know, being a veteran, a millennial vet myself, I disagree with you. I can understand closing some of the bases overseas, not all. And a massive cut to defense? What's a massive cut to you? I mean, there's a lot of things that I think we shouldn't be probably spending our money on, like algae refueling. Okay? I think we should, as Barack Obama says, take a scalpel to every line in the budget from the president's office down to what's the lowest, park rangers or something, line by line. I mean, we've got to be cutting it. We're $21 trillion in debt. Come on, people. Come on. Full decriminalization of all drugs, with cannabis being legalized nationwide. I wouldn't decriminalize crack cocaine. I wouldn't decriminalize heroin. The pill, the ecstasy, I think that's what it's called. I'm not all up to date on my drugs, A nationwide ban on cash bail and for-profit prisons. So anyone that gets locked up, you don't want to take them out? Okay. All right, next one. Automatic voter registration and a national voting holiday. So basically you want another holiday, another day off. And I'm against the automatic voter registration. If you can't take the 10 to 15 minutes out of your busy life on Facebook, on Instagram, buying a coffee at the local Starbucks to go register to vote, you don't deserve to vote. That's just my opinion. And it's crazy. This was just, you look at these demands, and they're crazy. A massive cut to the military. No. And here's the next one. A guaranteed right to housing with a total and complete ban on subsidizing private landlords. Build more public housing and maintain it everywhere. Again, who's going to pay for all this? You tell me. Tell me, who's going to pay for all this? Oh, the government. Who funds the government? Private. Yeah, that's hard to believe. D.C. and Puerto Rico statehood. I disagree. Puerto Rico maybe in the future, but the debt that they have is not something. We're already, like I said, $21 million in debt. We need to take on more debt from Puerto Rico? No, thank you. Pack the SCOTUS. Not really clear. Like, is that add more seats to the Supreme Court? Or is that to pack it with people that you support, like maybe that lady from New York, Cortez, the Democratic Socialist that won? That kind of thinking. Or Bernie Sanders. I don't know. I don't know. Here is two really good ones. Abolish ICE, abolish CBP, and DHS. Well, ICE used to be under the Department of Justice before it was under the Department of Homeland Security. So if you abolished Homeland Security, which I'm all for, I want to get rid of TSA. I want private in there to guard it. I want and ICE, all it was Customs and Enforcement Unit. We need that. I mean, I read to you last week what ICE's mission is. To stop human trafficking, to stop the trafficking of children, women, trafficking of weapons, trafficking of narcotics, the drug cartel. I mean, that's what's getting pushed in here. And last but not least right now that we're going to cover tonight is immigration amnesty and a path to citizenship for all. I mean, this one just goes, I have to read this one to you because you are going to love this. And we only got a little bit of time left tonight, but another, and I think, because I've read some of these DSA, Democratic Socialists of America content that they put out, a lot of these candidates, and this is word for word what all of them are pushing. Free public broadband? No thank you. Free public transportation? I don't even like getting on public transportation. Doesn't mean I want it free. Free public childcare? No. Oh gosh. I mean, these are the kind of things that make my head hurt. Oh. You just can't make this stuff up. You just cannot make this stuff up. Now, hey, I'm that type of guy that likes free stuff. I like going to the store and, I got a coupon that's free. Woohoo! I got a free box of Cheerios. I got 50 cents off my peanut butter. But you just can't. You cannot be. That's what's wrong with this nation right now. You have kids that have participation trophies that are marching in Chicago to shut down the street because a non-violent march. Okay. Well, where were you guys 2, 3, last 4 years whenever Chicago was ranked number 1 in the U.S. for murder? Now they want to because they had these marches all over? Hey, Chicago is a gun-free zone. We need private citizens to be able to carry their weapons more. That's it. Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. God bless you. God bless America. And thanks for tuning in. Good night.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.